Assalamu alaikum. Welcome again. My name is Osman Abdulrasheed, and welcome to another episode. Now, we've been talking for the past number of episodes. We're talking about business owners. How can they grow their business? And I know a lot of you are thinking, what of us that don't have business? What of us that want to start a business? Great. So today, on today's episode, what I want to talk to you is, if you want to start a business, how do you start? What are the things you look out for? What are the things that you want to make sure you have in place before you can even start running your business? So that I'm doing it early on in the series, so that if you even had any business idea, you quickly execute on it, so that as we are teaching you to grow, you would have started the business and you start to see how you can grow. So let me tell you an interesting thing. Every single business you see today, let's look at the biggest business and the richest businesses, whatever the business, whether in Nigeria, abroad. If you look at now, if you're looking at the world's richest people that Forbes are printing, who are the people? Go back and trace where they started from. You have to understand that businesses always start off as an idea. That's it. So your job as a business owner, as someone that wants to be able to go into business, is how are you able to take those ideas? One. Two is sometimes you hear the ideas, but you're not listening. So and let me ask you a question. For those of you watching now, have you ever had an idea about a business, about something, and you did not act on it, only for you to see maybe a month or 2 months later, someone that you know is doing the same idea that you thought about, and you're like, this guy stole my idea? No, he didn't steal your idea. Understand that ideas are open to everybody, right? It is your job to be able to see how do you capture that idea and then bring it out. Now think about it. The organization that is bringing you this episodes that we're talking about, it started as an idea, and then they were able to now move into action and see how they can get a lot of speakers and a lot of people to bring these programs to you. It's the same thing. So for every business idea you want to have, or for every business that you want to run, it starts with an idea. Now that's the first one. So think about it. What I want you to do is, there are 3 things that you must understand about ideas. 1, when an idea comes to you, it means that you have the capacity to bring that idea to life. Me personally, how I see ideas like an amana. I see that if I have an idea, the way I motivate myself to work on that idea is that I believe that someone out there, someone somewhere is praying for a solution, and Allah places that idea in my heart to provide the solution. Think about it. If you see the person that thought about the idea of building the first car, right, Henry Ford, before now, people were using horses, right? And then he had an idea that, okay, why should we use horses? Why can't we use something mechanical? If you think about the Wright brothers, from nowhere, they had the idea to build an aeroplane. Now, a lot of us you've gone for Umrah, you want to go for Umrah. Imagine if that aeroplane was not created, and you're in Nigeria and you want to go for Umrah, you will trek your life away. But now, alhamdulillah, those ideas have come to life. And then now you sit down, you even be saying, I want first class. If it's not first class, I'm not going to travel, right? So think the idea you're having today is a solution to someone else's problem in the future. It might not be now, it might be far, far, far into the future. So first thing, you must write down every idea you have. So understand that those ideas are important, right? So the second thing that you want to do is, when you have an idea, you must take action on it. How do you take action on your idea? The lowest action you can take, I've already mentioned it, is to write it down. Have you ever been in a situation whereby you have an idea? Maybe you were walking, or you were just sitting down and you had an idea and you didn't write it down. And then maybe 2 hours later, you were trying to remember the idea that you had, and it has disappeared. That's how ideas are. So as soon as you have an idea, write it down. I always have a notepad with me all the time, so that once I have an idea, I write it down. It might not be an idea for now, but just write it down so that you've stored it. You see, understand that your brain is not meant to keep information. The essence of your brain is to think. I see a lot of people sitting down, cramming numbers, account numbers, and all those things. Don't need to do that. Just write it down. Your phone number, once you have it, you probably don't need to remember it again. or once somebody saves it, right? And you can give yourself space for other things that you can do, your ibadah and all that. So write your ideas down, right? That's the second thing. The third thing that is very important, right, as you are acting on it, is make sure you don't delay taking action on your ideas. Because the more you procrastinate, the more you're giving chance for other people that might have the idea. Because sometimes idea is first to market. I'll give you an example. Zoom as a company was in existence since in the early 90s. But they didn't really make money. And it was an idea, the Chinese guy just had an idea to create a video teleconferencing product. And he pitched it to the company he was working in. And they said, no, they were not interested and all that. He left, early 2000s he left, and then started, selling on his own. But Zoom wasn't popular. But as soon as the pandemic hit, what happened? Everybody was Zooming. And then the share price blew up and everything happened. So if you have an idea, don't waste time. You don't want to be like Kodak. What happened to Kodak? If you know the story of Kodak, Kodak was one of the biggest photography company in the world. They were the ones that started film photography. If you remember those days when you put your film inside your camera, you finish taking picture, you carry it for them to go and develop. But did you know that Kodak was the company that even patented digital cameras? They did research on it, they developed it, but instead of them to take action, they decided to patent it and keep it. Why? They said people were not ready for digital cameras. Sadly, what happened? Other companies picked on it and then they were able to move. And now Kodak is a name that I'm sure most of the new generation people out there haven't heard of. So 3 things, you have to make sure that you need to understand that idea is special to you. 2, you must take action, which is write it down. 3, don't waste time. So how do you now see whether your idea makes sense in the market? How do you bring your idea to life? And I'll tell you. You see, in business, there are 3 major things that sell. 3. If you look at every single company in the world, you can categorize them under 3 broad industries. And what are those industries? 1 is wealth. Your idea, can it make people money? Because everybody is looking for money. If your idea can make people money, then that's the category that you want to go into. The second thing is health. Can your idea help people to live a better quality of life? Can it make them to be able to have like better longevity, either lose weight or whatever? The third one is relationships. We're social creatures as human beings, so we always want to interact with ourselves. What the idea that you have, is it going to help people interact better? For example, the phone. What do you think the phone sells? The phone is not selling this thing. It's social. Because you can use your phone to call people. But guess what? People now package it and sell status. So some people feel like they have a higher status because they have like a particular type of phone, right? So think about the idea that you're doing. Does it fall into each of these 3 categories? Which of these categories that it falls into? Once it falls into that, what you want to do is this. 1, you want to identify the customer. I've talked about it before, but let me just repeat it again. You want to identify who is the ideal customer that idea will serve. Because once you identify the ideal customer, then you now start to know what are the pains that customer is having, what are the benefits that the customer is looking for, how can you tell them that this particular idea that you have or this particular product or service that you have can help them achieve the thing that they are looking for in terms of wealth, in terms of health, and in terms of relationships, right? That's the first thing. Once you understand that, then even your features and your benefits, when you're talking about those things, you want to tie the features. So let's say, for example, you've come up with an idea to maybe, teach people how to save money, right? It's wealth related. So when you're talking about it, when you're talking about the features and benefits of your business, you want to tie it in to the wealth creation genre that you're talking about, right? And it's the same thing that goes with every other business, right? How do you help people make more money, or how do you help people to feel better about themselves, or how do you help people to relate with each other better? Maybe through phone calls, whatever, depending on the different types of ideas that you have. So once you're able to assess that, the next thing that you want to assess is how viable is that idea. And I'll tell you a few steps that you can use to check the viability of your idea. The first one is this: the product or service that you've created based on your idea, is it unique? What does that mean? On a scale of 1 to 10, is it unique? Rate it 10 if it's very unique, rate it 1 if it's not very unique. And how do you know if your product or service is unique? It means that somebody else cannot easily copy it. Because understand something, once you put out your product or service in the market, trust that in the next 2 or 3 months, people will copy your product or service. So you must look for something that people can't copy easily. And a lot of times when I'm talking to business owners, I tell them, one of the things that you can do to make things unique is use yourself. You are unique. There are no two human beings that are the same. So leverage on your unique experiences, your unique connections, the people that you know, the kind of places that you've been, and all that. If you leverage on that, that can give your product or service a unique feel about it. The second thing that you want to really look at is how badly do people want it. You don't want to be selling a vitamin C problem. And what does that mean? So there are two different types of problems that people have. Either it's a vitamin C problem or it's a Panadol problem. Imagine if you have headache. You come to meet me and say, Osman, I have headache. I don't know what to do. And I tell you that, okay, so for you to prevent headache, drink water twice a day, drink vitamin C, but the headache is not going to go now. Or compare it with, if you come and meet me and say you have headache, I give you ibuprofen that will make the headache go instantly. Which one would you prefer? The one that makes the headache go instantly. Why do you think that cancer prevention is not as expensive as cancer treatment? Why? Because people will always go for treatment and not prevention. So if you find an idea, you want to start to craft it and think, how badly do people want it? If it's an idea that people don't really want so bad, then you might have to change your idea and think about something else. But if you find that, this is something that people really badly want, then you can start to, push forward. The third thing that you want to think about when you're trying to see the viability of your business is how easy it is for you to go to market. If it's an idea that you have to build a factory, you have to do a lot of things, it might not be too easy for you. It means that you might not be able to execute on that idea immediately. But understand something, that for every big scope of idea, there's always a little thing that you can start today. So let's say, for example, you want to start producing water, and you're saying that, I must buy a factory, but I don't have money to buy a factory. What can you do? What's the little thing that you can do? You can actually go and be selling someone else's water. You go and meet them and say, okay, please, can I be a wholesaler? I'll buy the water from you and sell. Why is that important? Because you are now learning the supply chain of the water business. So that by the time you've brought up your own water, all you have to do is just replace that water that you have in your supply chain with what you're producing already, right? So that's one of the things that you want to do. So with these three things, I'm sure that you'll be able to start to see how you can assess your ideas and assess your product and services. Understand that ideas don't come fully formed. They always take time. And so the idea might not be clear to you, but it is action that will now make it clear. The more action you take, the clearer that the idea becomes. I hope that this episode has helped you to think, go back to those ideas that you had, that you maybe wrote them off, revisit them, think about them in a different light based on what I shared with you. And I hope and pray that I see more people coming up with businesses as a result of them being able to capture their ideas properly. And until another episode, I look forward to seeing you all. My name is Osman Abdulrasheed. Assalamu alaikum.
Ramadan Mubarak.